tremendous excitement. Ascari has overshot the chicane. The car has somersaulted straight into the harbour. Frogmen standing by dive in to rescue Ascari, but his blue helmet pops up over to the left of the point where the car went in, and he starts to swim towards one of the yachts. He is transferred to a stretcher and taken to hospital with little worse than a cut nose and a severe shaking.
A crash can hurt more than the body. In 1962, Stirling Moss was driving a Lotus at Goodwood and inexplicably crashed into the bank on the outside of a bend. He was critically injured. It was a month before he was fully conscious and many more before he drove again. And then he realized that something about him had changed.
Filtered back about how Mike had sort of seen this sort of situation and had dived in and had pulled Reggazoni after many attempts out of the car. The marshals having been a little tardy in sort of getting in on the act, which was not just a criticism of the South African, because frankly, that sort of side was rather slack.
Now, watch it again.
Je sais pas, il s'est accroché en tête et puis...
Is getting ready as we look again. Something must have broken on the car. We see that, yes, you can see things falling off the right rear wheel. The wheel's gone skew with there. It was difficult to see whether it was the tyre failure that broke the rear suspension, or whether the rear suspension broke first and broke the tyre. But certainly his rear suspension.
John Watson, and out of the points at the moment is Carlos Reutemann. There he is, storming along in the back behind John Watson, who loses it. That's John Watson, and a very nasty one indeed. Torn the whole of the back off the car. And that's a very, very bad one.
Now travelling at some 180 miles an hour as he approached the motordrome, Didier Pironi suddenly, in a solid ball of spray, came upon Alain Prost's Renault, and in a hideous repeat of Gilles Villeneuve's Ferrari Belgian Grand Prix practice accident, Pironi's Ferrari took off, flew through the air, nosedived into the ground and into the Armco. As I talk to you, Didier lies in Heidelberg University Hospital with 2 broken thighs and a broken arm.
It was an accident between Patrese and Piquet. I think there is not responsibility of Patrese or Piquet. It's a typical accident of Monte Carlo. And both driver was really lucky, then have not injury.
kam aus den Boxen und legte eine fantastische neue Zeit, Pole-Position-Zeit auf die Bahn von Jerez. Hier die furchtbaren Bilder von gestern. Ich möchte es nochmal sagen, jetzt wo wir diese schlimmen Eindrücke haben.
Simtech team's new driver, Andrea Montemini, had an enormous crash in his Simtech Ford yesterday, exiting the last corner at some 145 miles an hour. A hammer blow for the team, already mourning the loss of Roland Ratzenberger. Montemini ran too wide, got onto the grass verge, lost control and went straight into the tar-clad wall. But, as we'd come to expect prior to the tragic Imola accident, his injuries were slight, a broken toe and a cracked heel. Another tribute to the strength of the modern Grand Prix car.
The strategy of stopping at exactly third, and in comes Verstappen there. Verstappen coming into the pits, again the right thing for him to do, because he was being held up by the Ligier. The Ligier with its Renault engine is very quick indeed down the straights, about 10 miles an hour faster than Verstappen in fact. Into the pits he comes. Very difficult as a driver, you know, to judge. We had a quick glimpse of it from Verstappen. Oh, and fuel! That's the first time we've had a fuel splash. Oh, my goodness me!
Well, now, just let's keep calm. There are a lot of fire officials down there, and the fire is already out. And remember, when Gerhard Berger had his car burst into flames in Imola and he was sitting in the car unconscious, the fire marshals still got him out in plenty of time. And Verstappen should not have been in that car for more than a couple of seconds or so. They have medical air piped through to their helmets in case of a problem like this. And you can see the Benetton down there, and I cannot see Verstappen in it, so they've got him out safely. But that's the first time that the thing that everybody has feared since the reintroduction of refueling has happened, and with Verstappen out. Up the red light, and then about 4 to 7 seconds later the green light for the start of the 1995 Portuguese Grand Prix. Coulthard creeping a bit, but away they go. Has he incurred a jump start? It's possible. Coulthard is leading and squeezing Damon Hill, who is second. Schumacher is third, and off goes Frentzen, and a tremendous pile-up at the back of the grid. I was watching the front of it, so I missed the detail on that one, but it looks to me like it's Katayama's Tyrrell, which of course has been upended. The race will be stopped, absolutely no doubt about that. It has already been stopped. And now we must hope that Ukyo Katayama is all right. This extremely popular little Japanese driver, who is, of course, and that's Luca Badoer's car. There's been a coming together, I presume, between Katayama, who was 16th on the grid, and Badoer, who was 18th on the grid. Now, the debris got to be cleaned up, but that is totally irrelevant. What matters is how is Ukyo Katayama. You can be sure that the very in the car. Now let's have a look and see what happened. Look at the back of the grid.
Yes, let's see if we can see these cars. They're all doing 0 to 150 in less than 7 seconds, but someone has touched I don't know whether we're going to get a clear vision. There across looks like a Pacific. It's difficult to see. There's Katayama. Look at him fly through the air. That must be doing 130 miles an hour at the time. It flips around. Great strength in the chassis of these Formula One cars. Back comes the Minardi of Luco Badoa, and then Roberto Moreno, I think it is, in the 40. He's the one that comes into the back of Katayama, whilst Diniz, his teammate, sorry, I beg your pardon, whilst, yes, there it is, Diniz, I think, he comes down, leaving Moreno in his 40 into the back of that chassis of Katayama. We can see that Katayama is now out of the car. The Tyrrell is back on its wheels. You can see that the chassis looks like it's intact. Let's just hope that the damage there that's around the front of the car has helped dissipate the energy, because these cars are designed in such a way that all of the peripheral parts are supposed to come off.
Damon Hill, I do believe, a sensational start by Eddie Irvine in the Ferrari, who indeed is up to second place, and Schumacher has passed the Williams. Down into third and fourth position goes Damon Hill, and wow, that's one of the Jordans. This is what we feared at this corner, and that looks very nasty indeed. The Jordan goes flying through the air into the wall. There is absolutely no doubt that the Australian Grand Prix will be stopped. Indeed, the red flag has gone out. It's Martin Brundle, and miracle of miracles, this is well nigh unbelievable. Martin Brundle gets out of the car, and he is seemingly all right in terms of both. Now here it is. Let's have a look at it again. Now watch the Jordan, the gold car, in the centre of your picture.
Watch the McLaren there. It's David Coulthard who slides sideways. He runs into Martin Brundle, making up a good start. Martin Brundle's Jordan goes over spectacularly. What a tremendous tribute to the strength of these Formula One cars. The FIA have progressively increased the strength of the cars, and when that machine is turned over, I think Martin will just not believe he managed to get out of that. And you can see he's absolutely fine. This has been a miserable weekend for Martin Brundle.
Well, let me, to the extent that I can, without being there, reassure you that Martin Brundle seems to be perfectly all right.
Mycket snäv, hårnål, högerkurva, ettans-växel, där kommer det bli trångt.
Snart dags för start, Belgiens Grand Prix 1998. Håll i hatten, Kalle, för de närmaste 2 timmarna kommer att gå väldigt, väldigt fort. Mika Häkkinen före David Coulthard, Damon Hill, Michael Schumacher delar på andra startledet. Kanonstart av McLaren Mercedes. Nej, Coulthard tappar.
Ja, Eddie Irvine gjorde en mycket bra start. Michael Schumacher var också med, men fick sen ett kast och var tvungen att släppa av. Oj, en ordentlig smäll, och det tror det var David Coulthard. Jajamän, David Coulthard, Eddie Irvine, oj, Mika Salo, det är totalt, oj.
Det är kaos på sparbanan, ja, folk skriker, tävlingen bryts naturligtvis. Ja. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bilar kan jag räkna till.
Det ser ut som att de flesta förarna klättrar ur sina bilar. Det ser lite illa ut med Ferrari-bilen längre upp. Så konfirmeras det att loppet är brutet. Ja, men om tävlingen bryts nu så har de ändå vunnit. Och om den skulle brytas nu så skulle de vara både 1 och 2. Reglerna säger att om tävlingen bryts innan 75% av varven är körda, så tilldelas förarna halv poäng enbart. Skulle mer än 75% vara körda så utdelas full poäng.
Vi har kört 28 varv.
Så 5 varv kvar tills 75% är körda. Är det återigen en repris? Ja, jag måste säga att idag har Formel 1-förarna haft en sagolik tur, för att jag har väl aldrig sett på maken till så mycket skrotade bilar. Det har varit en av de förmodligen mest kostsamma Formel 1-lopp i historien.
Villenueve i fredags, Salo i lördags. Kraschen i starten kunde kostat många ben och många sår och stora skador.
Ja, det var alltså 14 bilar som gick åt där. Och sen har vi ju sett ytterligare ett stort antal bilar bli skrot under själva tävlingen när den väl kom igång.
sa tidigare att det var 7 bilar kvar i loppet. Det var ren och skär lögn och inget annat. Det är nämligen 6 bilar kvar. Alain
Is when we truly find out how they are going to deal with 2002. The Australian Grand Prix is underway, and it's a good start from the second row with Ralf Schumacher trying to squeeze through David Coulthard, and contact! Ralf Schumacher in the air and into the gravel trap, and an Axel and into the tyre barrier as well, and Ralf Schumacher cars all over the place. Saubers, Jordans, there's a Toyota in the middle of that, a BAR, and it is a disastrous start to the Australian Grand Prix.
Ben, I hope I didn't see this, but I just suspected that not what was going on at the front, but what was going on at the back. This is going to be...
Okay, let's get the T-car ready for John.
It's going to be a T-car ride. We'll see the safety car.
John, at what happened.
But watch Barrichello, and Ralf Schumacher goes between the two Ferraris. He out-accelerates his brother. Barrichello goes to the middle, then more to the right, then cuts... Ralf cuts back, of course. Rubens brakes. Look at, I mean, unbelievable. Ralf Schumacher was so fortunate, and he found the part of the safety runoff area with the most space. Now watch again. Schumacher goes one way, then Barrichello the other way, cuts back. Barrichello brakes. Ralf outbrakes himself, basically. Ralf missed his braking points.
Yeah, it does look that way. He went in without braking as Barrichello brakes and just ran into the back of him, and look at the carnage behind as cars just all over the place. Felipe Massa, the car nearest to our camera here in the middle. Well, it's just you can't see for the smoke. One or two.
Oj, mera bilar. Det är den här gången tror jag Ralf Schumacher. Ralf Schumacher.
Det här är precis i utgången av bankningen som jag pratade om. Den här bankningen innebär ju att det blir lite extra påfrestningar på bilen eller på däcken. Däcken går riktigt varma där.
Det står Baumgart där, kan det verkligen vara det? Nej, det där tror inte jag. Är det verkligen? Jag tror att det där är Williamson.
Nej,
det är Ralf Schumacher.
Ja,
okej. Det är Ralf Schumacher. Ralf Schumacher sitter still i bilen, ser mycket illa ut för Ralf Schumacher som inte rör sig. Ja, nu är det väl en liten rörelse från honom i monokocken där han fortfarande sitter kvar. En mycket otäck avåkning för Ralf Schumacher precis när de kommer ut på rakan efter den här bankade svängen då som vi pratar om hela tiden. Någonting har gått väldigt fel för honom här. Hoppas att
Massa had already made it into Q3 and was just a few seconds behind the Brawn. He went hurtling into the path of the errant spring and into the tyre wall. The team were desperate to check on his condition. Medics were on the scene quickly and Felipe was extracted from his car and taken to the medical centre.
Gegen einen der McLaren, gegen Fernando Alonso. Reifende gegen Alonso. Das Thema ist das auf der Schönberg-Gerade. Das war gar keine Kurve, sondern auf der Schönberg-Gerade. Safety Car ist draußen. Safety Car steht auf. Safety Car is out. There's a collision between Raikkonen and Alonso. Beide steigen aus. Piloten nichts passiert, aber das sieht mehr als spektakulär aus. Die müssen sich verhakt haben beim Rausbeschleunigen auf die Schönberg-Gerade, denn da ist von einer Kurve, was Sie hier sehen, ist eine normale Vollgasgerade. Ich dachte erst anbremsen, Kurve 2.
Checo, are you okay, Checo? Are you okay?
Yes, I'm okay, man. Потому что это не будет иметь никакого смысла просто практического. Вот, выход из второго Дегнера. И оп, до шпильки. Он задел левой стороной белую линию.
Перевернулся полностью вокруг себя.
И потом уже, был сначала удар задней частью, потом передней, а потом, поскольку болид боком влетел в гравий, и еще скорость не была погашена, он перевернулся.
Max Verstappen on the main straight, leading this race, now out of this race. Sergio Perez leads from Lewis Hamilton. Sebastian Vettel up into the podium places. We saw Valtteri Bottas back in 2018 lose the Azerbaijan Grand Prix with a tyre failure just a few laps from the end. History's repeated itself in 2021 and this year it's Verstappen. And we think it's the left rear tyre again. Verstappen had this race in his hands.
So, Mick Schumacher auf 9. Günther Steiner hat uns vorhin ja gesagt, das wäre das Ziel, in die Top 10 hineinzukommen. Schwerer Aufprall von Mick Schumacher. Und es muss rote Flagge geben, ganz klar. Wieder Mick Schumacher und wieder Jeddah.